I'm live. Gotta keep it down. It's early. I like getting up early. I don't. I don't see a point not to. I guess. Morning coffee. Uh, Caffeine has a hold on me. I can't lie. Um, I wanted to explore a thought. It's to me. It's weird and hard sometimes, or difficult to open up uh, the idea in which it's sitting in my head. S- Simultaneously, every sort of agenda or story or narrative exist. I think there's a very real strive for control over every sort of situation that you might find yourself in reality. But I also think in every sort of waking present moment, there is a sense of disorder, chaos, like disruption, um, more primal, instinctive urges and behaviors. But there also tends to be a very interactive, direct pull of intention and control, like a strive for control of the narrative of what's happening in this moment, in the reality that you kind of have this thought, right? You could be at a school or at a restaurant or a bar, and you'll realize this that there's a there's a there's order and then there's disorder, all kind of participating in the moment. Now, that realization is a very fun one. It's a very fun one. I want to get better at looking at the camera, but that realization, I feel like it can kind of put you in a analysis paralysis where you're always contemplating people's intentions and hidden agendas. There's always this unspoken, beyond logic and beyond rational thought of existence. There's always that in every moment. And we sort of put so much language and form and meaning over that formlessness that exists out of reason. Um, and you'll notice that everyday folks are participants of this order of like the agents of, I like to call them agents of order, where their mental process is literally just like a it's just a part of the grand narrative of the government and the electrical systems that are guiding us, the financial systems that are guiding us. They're all man-made, but they're systems guiding us and guiding our environment. Some of us get born into these perspectives, and some of us are better at operating around chaos than others, and operating within disorder and or or not being able to, or some people are very adaptive and can just play the role. Others can play both sides of kind of the chaos and the order. Why I bring this up? And, you'll probably notice that I do probably repeat myself in these videos. I, our screens have been formalized into this like certain expression, whether it's like a pre-planned speech, or catering towards the algorithm, which what's capturing the majority of people's minds. What is really interesting to some people in this moment of time, and it and it shapes our expression. And this expression is completely shaped and guided by the access point in which it's put out on. And I mean, what I mean by that is there tends to be this notion from the access points of how we express ourselves, of being seen or having some sort of financial gain. And these sort of things are tainting our perspective, tainting our expression, muddying the waters. I've said that a couple times in recent lives. It's a good, to me, it's a good sort of analogy. When you muddy the waters of expression, you can create sort of caves, or create sort of little oases of clearness, of clear water, of clarity, or caves that are empty and unexplored. Gonna sneeze. My God. I think I feel another one. Anyway, but when the landscape is just foggy and muddy, and you can't really make sense of anything, you'll have entities and corporations and systems of people who want to control the story, control the narrative, right? So as the waters are muddy and the fog is appearing and you can't see shit, out comes just this one thing, this one cave, this clear oasis. And you become hyper fixated on the oasis, on the cave, and everything that lies inside of it, and lies within it, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, because everything outside of it doesn't have a form. It doesn't make sense. And usually, what these oases are and caves are mirrors or echo chambers of a self-perpetuating belief within the individual to a collective neurosis, a collective thought, a tribalization, retribalization. I don't know what you want to say. And I think we tend to view tribes or groups of people as, or I won't always stick to the word tribe, but we tend to use the word tribe and we correlate it with um, a sort of indigenous population of people surviving amongst nature individually, separate from a larger collective of people, and they're very independent and strict in some ways. Tribes now, because as we gathered as a sort of culture amongst the last 200 years, let's say, information became much more dense. Stories and narratives became dense in their substance of use in the people's minds. People became more thoughtful and had more time to think and had more time to express those thoughts and sit with those thoughts. Generations had time to kind of soak in out, the collected thoughts. And now we have the collection of thoughts downloaded into a form of technology where you can summon any sort of idea at any given moment. Now, what that does, it creates tribes, yes, but the tribe looks different than what we correlate tribes with. These indigenous populations or these indigenous tribes in different areas of the world. We, instead of a local physical tribe where you're looking at the people in the eyes and you're interacting with them, and you're having moments of spiritualness, right? Gathered together, and you live with them, you see them daily. Our tribes now are more, I don't even like the word tribe for what I'm describing. I'll probably try to find a better word. But tribes now are so thought provoking. They're thought provoked. Their inclination, I believe I used that word right, but their inclination, I'm actually curious if I did. Hold on. Inclination definition. Come on, load. I'm not smart, but that was, yeah, okay, I did. Excuse me. But people's inclination now is through the screen before it is a person. But they correlate what they're seeing on the screen is the first thing they're interacting with. They're correlating the information they're getting first. They're considering it first before they're considering what they're entering before accessing it. Does that make sense? Obviously, people are gathering and being, forming groups on a physical level. But if you take a larger look at people gathering in all aspects, for all reasons, in this day and age, you'll see a pattern of large majorities dictating the collective mental image of these algorithms that are now enforcing and catering towards itself. And it's like a repeating sort of fractal of kind of seeing and mirroring itself. You'll hear about an event online through the screen. You'll then go to the event. You'll get to the event, right? Whatever it is. Let's say it's eating out. Let's say also it's like going to a concert. Let's say also it's, I don't know. Let's just say it's going to a bar. When you next time you do these things, right? Look amongst what's happening amongst other people. People now post their food before they eat online. They take pictures of it. I heard about the fancy new place, and they heard about it online, so they go to it, post about it online, talk about it online. Same thing with the concert, right? They hear about it online, they go to the concert. Now they record the concert to prove that they did this thing. They've gone half the time. They don't even look away from their screens. They're looking through the concert. They're looking at the concert through the screen to make sure that the moment is captured perfectly, right? I went to a pub not too long ago, just a little bar. I was like, well, you know what? Let me get a beer or two, see if I meet anybody. They had Lord of the Rings on in the corner, so I'm like, well, fuck, okay, I'm getting drunk. No, I'm joking, but I was gonna have a beer, and I'm sitting there and I'm like looking up and I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm kind of looking at it, looking at other people. My phone is in my bag, and I'm like, I talked to the bartender some. Eventually, I did meet people and had a great time, right? But as I'm sitting there, I look down my left, and it's just men like me, probably older than me, maybe my age, whatever. And all of them have their fucking phones in their hands scrolling. And there's like 6 on a line, 7 on a line, 8, 9, 10 people over there, and to my left. And I swear, like half of them, maybe even a little less or more, like were just on their phones scrolling with a beer. And I'm like, you're at a fucking bar. You know what I mean? So I tried to paint the picture. People are now going to these localized events, whatever they are, and instead of experiencing it, they must experience it with the screen attached, and they want to experience it through the screen. I think this sort of behavior is forcing people into molds, into forms that are not natural. And their escapism, their attempt to escape is through getting high on whatever. A lot of people drink, a lot of people smoke nicotine, weed nowadays, right? Caffeine, sugar, altered states of minds, really. But instead of using these intentions of getting high for any use, the highs themselves become capturable. But they become captured within the framework of the screen, where you're promoting this high in a form. And like, if you've ever gotten high on anything, there's no form to it. You're just fucking like whatever, you're experiencing the effects of the high. So now everything is like being aesthetically formed into kind of a mental perception of image, and it's becoming so ingrained. The groove is like so, it's just happening, it's going, the groove's taking us, it's riding, the rhythm's taking us, and I think we're in a strong need of a change of rhythm, on a local level, on a very local level, of just like, what's pulling our attention as soon as we wake up, right? Or like, what do we have access to in our vicinity? I try to keep a notebook and a pen near me, because maybe I want to draw, maybe I want to write, you know. I have my guitar near me, I have some paint, I have books. Now, all the things I just said, you can now access through the screen first. So people think they're directly impacting what they're doing, and I'm not saying they're not, but they're entering the screen first. And what does that do? What is that doing? Like, it's making our expression so predictable, and like it's just exchanging words for other words to mean the same thing. I titled this Tunnel Rats. Apparently, in trench warfare, in foxholes or something like World War One, World War Two. I don't know where. I forget what era. I imagine World War One, but I also imagine World War Two as well. Probably both. They called these people tunnel rats, where they had to enter these foxholes first to like sniff them out. Enemies, animals, flashlight, gun, probably. You're going first. That's what a tunnel rat was or is. We need more tunnel rats. Explore the imagination. Go. Keep going. Give yourself access to write. Give yourself access to paint physically, not through this fucking screen.